So, good evening to everybody. Thanks to Vanshi Bhai for yet another innovation that we are able to meet face to face, that too without mask, to our colleagues. Thank you, chairpersons, for those nice words. And we know that Gujarati Bhai हमेशा rock करते हैं. Coming to my today's talk, this is about appraisal of foundational evidence in place of SGLT2 inhibitors. I really do not know what the scientific chairman wanted me to speak about foundational evidence. But anyway, here I am to present what I understood out of foundational evidence, and my disclosures are nil. This will have only published randomized clinical trials about SGLT2 inhibitors. What I am going to do within next 18 to 20 minutes is about SGLT2 inhibitor, what I understand about foundational evidence. There are undoubted cardiorenal protection by type 2 or in type 2 diabetes by SGLT2 inhibitors. I know there is another talk on that, and there is robust evidence as of now in randomized clinical trials in non-diabetics too by SGLT2 use, and difference between different agents. We know that there are no head-to-head comparison trials available in place of SGLT2 inhibitors in 2021. Coming to foundational evidence of SGLT2 inhibitors, this drug basically was developed way back from florizine, apple tree root bark, which is a flavonoid and a potent inhibitor of lipid peroxidation. It was isolated, florizine was isolated in 1835, around 2 decades back. No, 2 centuries back. It was in 1886, von Mering, who for the first time observed that ingestion of florizine in relatively large doses produced glycosuria. SGLT2 receptors were discovered in early 1980 by NIH-supported researchers in US, in rats. Around 1997, a Japanese company developed florizine derivatives. They were pharmacologically active, and that led to development of various gliflozin group of drugs which inhibit clinically meaningful SGLT2 and SGLT1 receptor inhibitors. Dapagliflozin was the first SGLT2 inhibitor which was approved anywhere in the world way back in 2012. It was approved in US by US FDA in January 2014. Cana was the first SGLT2 inhibitor to be approved in US 2013. EMPA in 2014, EMPA-REG trial, which I call as a WOW trial, was presented in EST 2015, Canvas program 2017, declared TIMI in 2019. DAPA heart failure, which included heart failure patients, whether diabetic or non-diabetic, in late 2019. EMPEROR reduced in August 2020, and DAPA-CKD recently in 2021. EMPA kidney is to be presented in June 2022. Now, the WOW trial was the way which changed the diabetes treatment. It shows that September 2015, I was fortunate to be present in that hall, EMPA-REG outcome trial, which showed for the first time that patients with type 2 diabetes and known ASCVD, empagliflozin, an SGLT2 inhibitor, conferred early and sustained reduction in the risk of cardiovascular death. And that was game changer. It showed 38% risk reduction in overall study population, and later on in Asian population, the risk reduction was even more, 56%. Empagliflozin reduces the risk of first and recurrent cardiovascular events in patients with type 2 diabetes and known ASCVD. There is 21% reduction in the risk of myocardial infarction events with empagliflozin versus placebo that you can see 3-point MACE, MI, or coronary revascularization. Everything is on the left, which favors empagliflozin. How much effect this empagliflozin imparts to the treating population? By treating 6 patients with ASCVD and type 2 diabetes, if you use empagliflozin, that prevents 1 additional hospitalization or death. And remember, this was on the top of already used standard treatment, and the number needed to treat is only 5.4. So if you treat around 5 patients, you prevent 1 death and 1 additional hospitalization. Now, this was secondary prevention in known ASCVD. What about primary prevention? Declared TIMI 58 with dapagliflozin, which represented the population which we see in our day-to-day practice, and they really need prevention of complication, and it showed that SGLT2 inhibitor can do it even in primary prevention group. Remember, there were more than 60% of patients of high-risk group that we see in our clinical practice. And the placebo MACE rate was very low in these patients, 24 out of 1,000, while it was 43.9 and 31.5 in EMPA-REG and CANVAS. Looking at the renal composite in patients with or without ASCVD, again, declared TIMI 58 stands out. Renal benefits of dapagliflozin equally seen in the patients who are in primary prevention group. Coming to evidence in non-diabetics, whether it is renal disease and HFrEF. As of now, till date, it is HFrEF only, heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. Dapagliflozin in CKD, diabetic or non-diabetic, that is DAPA-CKD. First treatment for CKD with or without type 2 diabetes to improve cardiorenal outcome and reduce mortality. That was the aim of DAPA-CKD. Around 68% of patients were diabetic and 32% for non-diabetic. There is 39% risk reduction. There is tremendous improvement irrespective of presence or absence of type 2 diabetes. So this was CKD with or without diabetes. Coming to heart failure, diabetic or non-diabetic, DAPA heart failure, first and largest SGLT2 inhibitor in patients of HFrEF to successfully improve the outcome and symptoms. And you can see 55% of patients in this trial were non-diabetic, and there was a significant reduction in the risk, primary risk and secondary risk, and this was on the top of standard heart failure therapy that we have been using for years, and that is safe also. significant 26% relative risk reduction, and the p-value is 0.001. Number needed to treat is 21. Going beyond that, empagliflozin also showed diabetic or non-diabetic in HAF-RAF achieved all three pre-specified endpoints, whether it is primary endpoint, first secondary endpoint, or secondary endpoint of renal outcomes. That also was very, very significant. P for all the three is 0.001. It also achieved success on composite renal endpoints and quality of life score, total number of hospitalization for any reason. Coming to difference between different agents, I told you there is no head-to-head comparison. You cannot compare between the trials. We have canagliflozin, dapagliflozin, and empagliflozin, and the trials are there in forms of CANVAS, DECLARE TB, and EMPA-REG. There are two trials which I presented, diabetic or non-diabetic with HAF-RAF, DAPA, and empagliflozin, and you cannot compare both of them because of different inclusion and exclusion criteria. These guidelines are based on evidences. DAPA is approved in all three: primary heart failure outcome data, primary renal outcome data, and reduction in heart failure and CKD progression in CVOTs. While CANA is not approved in primary heart failure and EMPA is not approved in primary renal outcome. There are trials coming up. I told you EMPA kidney to be seen in 2022. Now coming to last part of the talk, place of SGLT2 inhibitors in 2021. What are the recommendations by various bodies? And for diabetes, I divided it purposely in diabetics and non-diabetics. ADA Standard of Care 2021 says, irrespective of what is the baseline HbA1c, if there are indicators of high risk or established ASCVD or established CKD or established heart failure, use organ protection drugs like GLP-1 receptor agonist or SGLT2 inhibitors. These are to be used ahead of metformin even. That is there even in ACE 2021 guidelines, and it clearly says that independent of glycemic control, if there is established or high ASCVD risk, use either SGLT2 inhibitors or long-acting GLP-1 receptor agonist. That is clear. But for CKD, even in absence of diabetes, there are evidences, I told you, in diabetic and CKD, metformin and SGLT2 inhibitors are the first line therapy as recommended by KDIGO. They are to be used depending upon EGFR and any indication or contraindication to both these groups of drugs. KDIGO recommendation for diabetes with CKD focus on grades of recommendation. Grades of recommendations are based on evidences. For ACE inhibitor and ARB, in presence of diabetes, hypertension, and albuminuria, the grade is 1B. For metformin, for type 2 diabetes, CKD, and EGFR more than 30, grade is again 1B. But for SGLT2 inhibitor, the grade is 1A because of very strong evidence in presence of type 2 diabetes, CKD, and EGFR more than 30. For GLP-1 receptor agonist in CKD, again the grade is 1B. So the strongest evidence in CKD and diabetes is in favor of SGLT2 inhibitors. Coming to heart, for HFrEF, the reduced ejection fraction of heart failure, ESC, European Guideline 2021, heart failure guidelines, what are the recommendations for SGLT2 inhibitor? The class 1 recommendation for dapagliflozin and empagliflozin, even in absence of diabetes. There are additional details given, and they clearly say DAPA or EMPA are recommended for patients with HFrEF to reduce the risk of heart failure, hospitalization, and death. And look at the risk of the evidence 1A. 2021 ACC expert consensus SGLT2 inhibitor, first line treatment. Anything in the blue is the first line. ARNIs, beta blockers, MRA, and SGLT2 inhibitors are the first line for all patients with HFrEF. SGLT2 inhibitors should be added for chronic HFrEF. Once reduced ejection fraction is stabilized, use SGLT2 inhibitor who are already receiving ARNI or ACE inhibitor or ARB, beta blockers and MRA if there is no contraindication. Achieving target or maximal tolerated dose of other HFrEF therapy is not necessary. So what is the new proposal for HFrEF? Foundational therapy should be completed in 3 weeks. Step 1, use beta blocker, SGLT2 inhibitor during the first week. Step 2, within next 1 to 2 weeks, ARNI. Step 3, add MRA. That is the new proposal. What are the pearls for the use of SGLT2 inhibitor? They should be prioritized in all patients who have either injured heart or injured kidney, whether it is caused by diabetes or because of heart failure or because of non-diabetic kidney disease. So all those patients do need SGLT2 inhibitors. Benefits do not depend upon presence or absence of diabetes, and they are not influenced. The effect is same even in absence of diabetes. Benefits are seen in more advanced but clinically stable heart failure and all types of stable CKD over and above RAS blockage. Use of EMPA and DAPA and sacubitril valsartan together is additive. SGLT2 inhibitors produce slower rate of annual decline of EGFR than placebo, and look at the rate, minus 0.55 when you use SGLT2 inhibitor versus minus 2.28. That is very, very important. And this is the latest edition, yesterday only, 11th of November 2021, released on 12th of November, yesterday. US FDA accepts the supplemental new drug application and grants priority review for empagliflozin for adults with heart failure, even in preserved ejection fraction. If approved, Jardiance could be the first clinically proven treatment for adults across full spectrum of heart failure, regardless of ejection fraction. Many more we can see coming, the indications for SGLT2 inhibitor in coming years. And with that, thank you very much once again to the team Ahmedabad RSSDI.